pride, but I want to take that a step farther. It is a hesitance to give up power.
You're not the first.
And the hardest thing to tell someone, particularly a poor white in America, is that they yield power because your richer white brother has so completely deceived you into thinking that you are like me and you are not. And so this is the fundamental thing. And so I saw a Twitter user, and it was perfectly illustrative of how wild white people are, because it was this white girl who I went to school with, and she had posted something about this Twitter user thing. And it was essentially like, white people, you have to be okay with the fact that even as you are actively moving from just like not racist to actively anti-racist, as you are getting woke and making strides, you just have to be okay with the fact that some black people ain't never gonna like you. And when I tell you this little white man came down, one of her little white friends came down in the DM and was like, this is moral and wrong. And like, if I haven't done anything to someone, why shouldn't they? Sir, this is the crux of your problem. You think that because you're trying your best, that the onus is on me to forgive.
Right.
The onus is on me to accept that you, an individual, not a systematic group of people, is still oppressing me. You are associated with them. Like, you are forcing me. That's not how forgiveness works. Like, you can apologize. It is up to me to accept that apology and establish whether or not it is significant and if it is welcome and adequate recompense. So that's my whole thing about this. Like, yes, it hurts. It hurts to be told your cracker grandfathers did this and you reap the benefits. It's like you get great. That's even a racist term, grandfathered in, but I mean, you get grandfathered into a lot of this stuff. But it really comes down to white people are not ready to yield their power. They are very ready to do performative exercises like wash niggas' feet and cut off their hair and hold it great. But are you shifting power? Mm-hmm. Are you willing to say this thing that allows me to hold people in oppression, willingly or unwillingly, I yield it? Am I transferring that over and giving that power to someone else to make decisions? And what you will find when you dig way deep down into that is that they absolutely are not and not willing to do it. So that's what has to happen.
And the reason I said that, somebody said that before, because we were having a conversation, one of our earlier conversations about the power differences between men and women. That point was made too. Men don't want to give the power to women because once they give the power to women, what are women going to do? Is like, once the oppressor allows the oppressed room, they're afraid that they will be treated the same
the way that they've been treating people. It's funny. Y'all think, terribly funny.
But we're not like that though. 400 years has proven that we are not vengeful.
We're not.
It's ironic because, and then the other thing is also the example of these riots and the looters and things. To be honest, like the protesters, we have been the least weaponized out of, and considering how big these protests are, we have been so like without any unarmed. We've been so unarmed, disarmed in this whole thing, and here we are meeting riot gear and tanks and SWAT teams and FBI agents. Like you know, it's not even just your local municipalities that are being brought out to police these things. It's like, you know, it's actual federal task force and things like it. They're pulling out all the stops to make it so intimidating. And it's like, but what are you being intimidating for? You're meeting people who are entirely peaceful. You know what I mean? That's the front that you're looking at here.
I think I want to ask you about that because it leads me into the idea of censorship. Because I saw this one video of this white guy. You might have seen the video where he was like in the middle of all these protesters. He was literally smacking their signs down and all this. Y'all know the video I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, he's in like a red shirt. He's wearing a hat. They knocked his hat off and stuff.
The one that was on Jessica's page?
Yes.
Yeah.
That made me angry.
Oh, that was really rough to watch.
Because to me, when you're looking at protesters and saying, "Oh, why can't y'all be peaceful?" He was protesting the protesters violently, and apparently, I didn't see the video. I saw the video. I didn't really look at this, but I heard one of the comments say that there was a policeman there somewhere. And didn't stop.
Yeah, there was like two. Yeah, and he barely even, he was just like, "No, sir, you need to come over here." They're so.
Wait, what, Tamara?
At one point, he was chuckling.
The police.
Yeah, like he was trying to do the right thing and escort the guy off. Why? Because he was being recorded and because that's the right thing. Let me get him out the way. But he's literally stood there. The problem I have with the whole thing was if the roles were reversed and that was a black man going against white people who were protesting.
Absolutely.
Okay.
He just arrested him.
He would have been met with excessive force. Just like it didn't make sense to me that white people can go stand in front of the state capitol with AK-47s protesting about not being able to come out their house because there's a freaking virus going around. Are you serious? And then people who are peacefully protesting because a man was murdered in broad daylight, and it ain't just for George Floyd, but for all the other black lives that have been murdered in broad daylight, at night. It don't matter. They've been killed because of the color of their skin. It's just that simple. And for these white people to go to a state capitol and they are armed
with
I'm not talking about bricks and stuff. I'm talking about legit guns. And y'all didn't meet them with the same excessive force. Y'all wasn't bringing out tear gas. Oh, why? Because they coming up here. Oh, because they're white. Oh, they're just angry. They have every right. And then Trump, they're good people. They're just angry. But then the thugs were the looters and the rioters. I just couldn't get down with that.
Talk to me about Trump, and this is what I'm going to ask. Let me frame the question, because my personal thoughts towards how the politicians are acting right now. I get really frustrated with politicians being politicians. Like, we don't need y'all to pander to us. We want change. We don't
really fast. As Kiana was talking about, like, performative versus actual, like, change and things like that. One of the things that you, as you're talking about that, like the whole Kente cloth.
That's what I was about to say.
Like, I was like, I don't care if you're if you're kneeling for fucking 10 minutes. What I want you to do is go back into that goddamn fucking auditorium and make some goddamn policy changes. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see you fucking kneeling for 10 minutes. Nobody cares about that. I care about the actual policy.
That's the deeper question. Is like, it's not just Trump's fault, bro. It's not. And I think that's hard for people to just go ahead. It's easy for people to just hop on Trump. Look, Trump's is just, he's just incredibly Trump. He's Trump. He's a lot of that all the time, right? We get it. He's Trump. He's not my issue though, because Trump wasn't the president, but for 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? He just became the president. Nancy Pelosi has been a politician longer than Trump. Mm-hmm. And for her to pull some shit like that, and somebody was like, "Oh, the caucus asked her to do it," she should have said no.
Hell no.
Right.